All right, everybody, welcome to Two Top Sports. Today we're going to talk about we're going to preview each division in NFL and talk about how we think they're going to do. So, how you doing today, Jamel? So good to have you on. Jamel
I'm
in the house.
Yeah.
doing pretty
Yeah.
good.
Oh, good, good, good. All right. So I don't know if you can see the screen, but we got a few divisions that we got all divisions up. Let's start with the NFC East. I think that's Mario's favorite division.
Of course.
So, yeah, let's talk about that first. So, Jamel, what do you think about the NFC East? Who's going to win this division?
I'm gonna take the Eagles. I'm gonna take the Eagles over everybody. Cowboys pretty much the same old team,
Yeah.
and New York and Washington kind of rebuilding the situation. So I'm gonna just
Mm.
ride with the Eagles.
And I'm torn between the Eagles and Dallas. Everybody's, singing the blues about Dallas, but like you said, they got the exact same team. They should get 11, 12 wins, I would think, maybe. If they can get somebody to run the ball, I think that's their biggest weakness. And they don't really have a second or third string receiver. Um, I think Giants are definitely at the bottom of the division. Washington, I think they're going to get 8, maybe 9 wins because I think Jaden Daniels is really going to get something going. That's if he can stay healthy. I mean, I watched him in preseason a little bit, and he just looks so small. And you get those 300-pound defensive linemen chasing you down. I mean, I think that's going to be tough for him. He's going to have to really adjust to make sure he stays healthy and be really careful. What do you think, Mario?
I think Washington win the division.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah. I think Jay Daniels the LSU game. He looked way bigger than I thought he would. So yeah, I think we good.
You think so?
Yeah,
Now, Jay,
I give 11
I
wins.
yeah, I thought Jaden Daniels looked big too when he played for LSU, but when he got out there for all them NFL players, he just looked small to me. I don't know what his exact weight is. I don't know if anybody knows that, but um, I think he's around 205, something like that. I don't think he's up at that 220 or something. But I do think they're gonna Jay Daniels can surprise some people. I think Washington surprised some people. Um, but I don't see him winning no division or nothing. Come on, Mario, don't be a homer. You
I mean,
know,
look, they gonna shock y'all. Okay, look, Dallas, they ain't got no builder. You know what I'm saying? Philadelphia, I think Philadelphia and Washington gonna tie with the same record.
you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see the over under on that one. um, I don't know. I mean, I ain't a big fan because I think even Dallas with their new coach and defense, I can't think of what his name is off the bat, but he's been around the league for a long time. I think
Oh, you
their
talking about Mike
defense will
Zimmer?
be better.
Mike Zimmer?
Mike Zimmer.
Yeah.
I think their defense will be better this year because, I mean, think about Dan Quinn in the playoffs. I mean, they just, every year, I mean, offenses just ran through them. What do you
I
think?
think they made it the right stuff, but it's like a year, maybe 2 years away. But they definitely got it going in the right direction.
You think the Redskins?
Yeah,
Yeah. And I agree, but I mean, it's all defense wins championships, which we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we go. All right, so besides Mario, I think me and you are kind of in agreement on probably Philadelphia. They do got a little bit of turmoil going in Philadelphia. I'm kind of curious how that'll play out. They did get 3 new cornerbacks in Philadelphia too, because they couldn't stop nobody in the past last year. Their back end of the defense was terrible. They got 3 new cornerbacks, so we got to see how they'll do. All right. All right, the AFC East. What do you think about this, Mario?
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
Think so?
Yeah, I think the Dolphins are gonna finally take a step ahead. I think Tua gonna be good. You got Tyreek. You got Jalen Ramsey still on defense. They're
Mm-hmm.
overall good team, and I think they win the division. They can go far in the playoff because they can't play in the cold, so they're gonna have to win the division.
And I totally agree with it. They need to start out strong. They need to hold on to that division because last year at the end of the season, they let Buffalo steal the division. And, the Dolphins in 20-degree weather, I mean, that's not the Florida spirit right there. What do you think, Jamel? I know you're a Dolphin fan, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. I'll go with the Dolphins too. But I think they'll win the division, but Buffalo still, they're still that thorn in their side, kind of like that
Mm-hmm.
thorn in their side. So the playoffs might tell a different story, but I think they'll have that home game, that win the division. But the Jets might sneak up. I don't know.
That's what I was
The Jets
thinking
might sneak
too.
up on some people. Aaron Rodgers, if he has a full healthy season, they
Yeah.
might sneak up into the conversation.
Yeah,
Brown.
because we know the Jets have a great defense. I mean, and I'm sure Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's probably going to be basically the offensive coordinator. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I agree with that. Buffalo, they lost Diggs. Where'd he go? He went to
The Texans. Yeah, he
to
went to East.
Texans. Yeah, he went to the Texans. So, but Buffalo, I think they always got the curse in the end because they took Jim Kelly to the Super Bowl multiple times, never could win one, and they
Four,
had great teams.
how
Huh?
many? Four. How you not win 4 tries?
Well, I mean, because you're playing better teams. I mean, back then the NFC, at that time was just way better than the AFC. Now you got a little bit more balance between the two leagues. But back then the NFC was king, and AFC would win a Super Bowl every once in a while. Yeah, but I think I agree with you, Jamel. I think the Dolphins have to win the division. I mean, in my mind, and if they don't, let's look at. I'm gonna look at another little graphic here. Hold on. Strength of schedule. I don't know if y'all can see that, but whoops, my bad. Let's see where they're at. We'll see Miami Dolphins almost at the bottom of the league in strength of schedule.
Oh, that's good.
So they're going to have an easy schedule this year. Their opponent's going to be a 4-8-8. So that could favor them. And they're the only ones in that division that's got such an easy schedule. Like you look up at the Buffalo Bills, they're like 6th or 7th in the league on on how hard it is. Where's them Washington Redskins? They're about middle of the pack, little over 500 for their division.
We command. We command now.
Yeah, the Commander. Yeah, don't let me say Redskins. I watched them for 40-something years, and they were the Redskins. It's gonna be hard for me to stop saying that. So I apologize, America. But yeah, that strength of schedule. I think it could be Miami's year, at least for the division. Now, and we'll talk about what the other things we think about. So back to our division. So we'll agree Miami's going to win it. You agree with that, Mario?
Oh yeah, Miami gonna get that.
And the Jets are a sleeper. We ain't sure because Aaron Rodgers, he ain't played a snap really in 2 years, and he's 40 years old. So I'm kind of curious just how good he's going to be. Is he going to be the same Aaron Rodgers? All right. So we'll move on. We'll go to the NFC North. What do you think about that division, Mario?
They're gonna be an interesting division between 2 teams. The other 2 don't count. Bears and Vikings. But I got the Lions taking it again. I got the Lions
Think
taking
so?
it. Yeah, I got the Lions taking it again. I don't think they want to take a step back. I think they'll still be just as good they were last year. I think the Packers will be better. But I think it's gonna come down between them 2. But I think the Lions just a little bit better than them right now. I think Jordan Love still got a little more improvement to do.
Mm-hmm.
I got more tape on him now.
Yeah, they definitely, and I always talk about that sophomore jinx, come back for that second year, and don't, I think Green Bay only had like 8, maybe 9 wins last year. It wasn't like they blew up the league last year. They
Yeah,
kind of backed into the playoffs um, because everybody else was struggling, or in the NFC. But they sure put a whipping on Dallas, but I mean, they ain't the first person in the last 30 years put a whipping on Dallas, right?
every year.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think, Jamel?
I agree. I agree with Detroit. They lost a little bit defensively. C.J. Gardner Johnson, he went back to the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Packers looked good last year. See if that momentum continues. The Vikings, they lost their quarterback. The
Yeah.
quarterback they drafted, they lost him to injury. And Chicago is, Chicago with Caleb Williams. He might show some promise, but yeah, it's Chicago.
Chicago
So,
does have a great roster. I mean, they have a good roster. I mean,
yeah.
they, but I mean, I did see the Minnesota quarterback. He's trying to date that hot Tua girl. So I can't think of I can't think of what he don't want to be doing that. That show mess up his game. But I don't know. Chicago is interesting to me because I think they tried to put some people around Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I ain't say they succeeded. And I think Nick Saban um, said it well on college football. He said you can spend a lot on your roster, but if you pick the wrong people, you're screwed. I mean, I think y'all see that sound bite on him talking about
Yeah.
the NIL. And I agree with that. I mean, once you can get a bunch of good players, but can they play together? Can they be ready to roll? I mean, can they be a team? So, and we haven't seen Caleb Williams have any controversy in the NFL yet. He's looked really good, but how's he going to hold up against critics and controversy and stuff like? Because it's coming, right? So, I want to say Detroit's going to win that division because I think they're actually they had San Francisco last year in the playoffs and they let them off the hook. They should have had them, and they, like I said, because of way they're coaching, and seeing that, I'm a little bit more confident in the Green Bay coach than I am the Lions. I like Dan Campbell. I like his attitude. He wants to go for it. He's definitely a player's coach, but a lot of times that player's coach don't play out good because I mean because they shouldn't have lost to San. I think they was up by 20 something. They shouldn't have lost to San Francisco in the playoffs. Going forward on fourth down and just taking too many chances. I mean, don't argue with the football gods because they've been around for a while, right? All
Big
right.
Gamble Campbell, that's what I call him.
Yeah, Big Gamble Campbell. Yeah, I agree. So I think we'll all agree on Detroit's probably going to win the division. Maybe Green Bay going to challenge them. And I want to say Chicago is kind of, we're not too sure about yet. Like you said, it is Chicago. They haven't had a 4,000-yard passer ever in the history of the Bears.
That's pathetic.
So, I mean, and this is they think they got, but I will tell you one thing. If Caleb Williams does well in Chicago and comes out good, he will own that town because they've been waiting for a quarterback forever. So, all right. So let's go to the next division. We'll go to the AFC North. What do you think, Jamel?
AFC North. That's a pretty tough division, but I'm gonna take Baltimore.
You
That is
think?
an extremely tough division, but
It is.
to me, it's the best division in all of football, like the AFC North, because you got Cleveland, you got Pittsburgh, you got Baltimore, and who else is right? Yeah, Cincinnati. Oh my God, like
Yeah.
that's a tough division, but I'm gonna take Baltimore. But we all know what all of those teams are made of. The Steelers
Mm-hmm.
probably the worst team out of all four, but still a very good team. But like I said, Baltimore. I'm gonna take Baltimore.
And I haven't heard a lot of talk about Cleveland because who's your quarterback? What's his name? Cleveland?
Watson, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. We haven't heard. I mean, because he didn't play none in the preseason. No, Joe Flacco almost, took his job because if he'd have went far in the playoffs, Joe Flacco, they'd have gave him that job. Pittsburgh, they've been over. They've always hung. The last few years, they've hung their hat on. We're over 500 every year. But their quarterback situation, I think that's volatile because I was telling Mario on a podcast a couple weeks ago, if Russell Wilson struggles, that town is like Chicago and Philadelphia. They'll say, get him out, get Fields in. I mean, and you know what the old saying is, if you got two quarterbacks, you ain't got no quarterbacks. So I think this could be the year where Pittsburgh falls off, actually. Cleveland, I mean, they had a good defense last year, right?
Yeah, they had one of the best defense in the league.
Yeah, and they just need, and I think Chubb will be back, right? Because he got hurt last year. So, I mean, they could definitely challenge Cincinnati. And I think I was telling Mario too a couple weeks ago. Burrow has never had a full preseason. He's never had a full preseason where he's healthy. He always had he had an injury every year, and then they had a COVID year where they'd have no preseason. So this is the first year he actually got to participate in preseason, and he's been as good as he's been. And he's never had a preseason. So I think that should help him. I mean, they still got the same receivers. They still got the same basic makeup of the team. So I want to say look out for them because I'm going to pick Cincinnati to win that division. I think Baltimore, they got 3 new offensive linemen this year. And I think they'll probably focus on run blocking because they got, their new running back, that I love to death, the old Alabama dude. What's his name? Derrick Henry. He's been one of my favorite football players for a few years. I love how he runs, but I think he only had 1,200 yards last year, but he had 12 touchdowns last year. So I don't think he's done. But Baltimore, one thing that concerned me, I was watching an interview with Lamar Jackson. He dropped 15 pounds this year. He's actually 15 pounds lighter than he was last year. And I think, I think that that's one reason why people aren't picking him. They're not sure he's going to stay healthy because he should be focusing on becoming a better passer. And he dropped 15 pounds because he thinks that'll make him faster. And I don't know. I mean, Baltimore on paper is probably the best team. And Harbaugh always right there. You always look up at the end of the season and Harbaugh's got his team in the playoffs and ready to challenge for something. So I want to say that straight up from my perspective, Baltimore and Cincinnati. What do you think, Mario? You going to agree with that?
I'm actually going to go with Cincinnati also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Burrow, he going to be healthy this year. So I think they're really going to get back what they was. Not when they made the Super Bowl, but I know they're going to take the division. I think Baltimore, it's still going to be Baltimore, but I think they're going to take a little step back a little bit,
Right.
I think Lamar really confused with what he going to be right now. I got to see what he going to do because, I don't know what it is. It's just like he just can't get it right. Regular season, he good, but playoffs, but Bengals, I know what to expect from Burrow. And long they get out to a high start, it's still like slow start, they'll be good. And I think this time they're gonna come out good.
And Lamar Jackson, he's our reigning MVP too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and he's putting up numbers. I mean, especially overall offense. I don't know. I mean, it's hard. I don't think we've ever had such a running quarterback go to the Super Bowl, have we, Jamal? Besides maybe Steve Young, and he wasn't like these guys that run these days.
You want to put Cam in there? Maybe.
I forgot about Cam. Yeah. I mean, and they went to the Super Bowl one year, didn't they?
Yeah, Cam was big though.
Yeah. Cam a big guy.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that worries me about Baltimore. I think I've always liked Baltimore as far as a football perspective. I think they run a great team. Derrick Henry's interesting. I mean,
I
if he
think
can, go ahead, Jamal.
I think having Derrick Henry in that lineup kind of unlocks that offense because you can kind of craft it in a way where it can be kind of like a RPO kind of thing or
Mm-hmm.
like an option
Right.
because you won't know like you can load the box up, you can load up the box trying to stop Derrick Henry, and then Lamar gets to flinging the ball around everywhere. He can
Mm-hmm.
start throwing touchdowns, or he may run. Like you don't know what's coming. I think it just unlocks their offense even further. Like so, it'd be hard. It'd be hard to see what's coming. Like, is it a run from Lamar? Is it a run
Right.
from Derrick Henry?
True,
Is
true.
it going to the left side? Is it going to the right side? I just think
Mm-hmm.
it it keeps defenses on their heels. So I
Right.
think that having Derrick Henry would make them even better.
Yeah, and I've never paid attention to Derrick Henry's blocking for a quarterback. I'm not sure how good of a blocker is he, Jamel. You watched him in Alabama, so how good of a
Yeah,
blocker is he?
he's pretty solid. I would say. I would say he's
Yeah,
pretty solid.
he's definitely big. I mean, and I think one of the reasons why, because when I watch him run down the field, he reminds me of Eric Dickerson.
He
He
showed
runs tall. Going down the
straight up.
field. Yeah, straight up. I mean, I love him as a runner. I mean, and and people think about it before they try to hit him and tackle him.
I would
I mean,
too.
yeah, right. All right. So I want to say Cincinnati. Mario's saying Mario. I mean Mario. Cincinnati, and Jamel's going to say Baltimore, but
We better not
I
sleep
ain't
on the
saying
Browns, bro.
Baltimore's done. We're just going to yet to be seen, right?
Yeah,
Don't
with
sleep
that
on the Browns
division,
now.
to me, either Baltimore or Cincinnati, you can't go wrong with either one, really.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so now we'll go to the NFC South. That
Mm.
that great, wonderful, powerful division.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the pundits are saying they're looking for Atlanta to have 12 or 13 wins this year. I mean, goodness great. Is Atlanta that good, Jamal?
They've had a pretty good overhaul, I would say,
Yeah, right.
with on the defensive side and offense, really. Getting
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins, and then you got Michael Penix. So
Mm-hmm.
if Kirk Cousins doesn't look as good or he gets injured again, you kind of have that security blanket to fall on in Michael Penix. And then
Yeah, I forgot they got him, so
what,
you think their
13
defense can hold
wins?
up?
Yeah, they got a lot better defensively.
Mm-hmm.
They stole one of my guys from the Broncos, Justin Simmons, and then they got Judon from New England. They got Judon
Mm-hmm.
from New England. So the defense got got better. They got better. Like I said, and
Right.
then offensively they already had a lot on that side. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess they thinking the new coaching and everything gonna turn something around. But 13 wins, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people are saying 12 or 13 wins.
They said they would
Don't
be
know
done
about
with
that one.
Atlanta.
Well, I mean, you think about it. If you just win all the games in your division, that's 6 right there. I mean,
They ain't gonna do that.
yeah,
Last time I saw them, they got beat by 40 by New Orleans.
right.
Like,
And a lot of people got New Orleans at the bottom. I just don't see that because their defense wasn't bad last year. They had one of in the top 10 in the defenses. But I mean, and Derek Carr, if you look back at the stats of like last 5 games, he led the league in QBR and a bunch of the statistics. He was, the last 5 games, he was really good. I mean, so I don't know. So, Tampa Bay, they won a playoff game last year, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, and Baker Mayfield, I mean, and, and their coach, who's that? Not Lovey Smith, but what's his name?
The guy that used to be the defensive coordinator, wasn't it? I forgot.
Todd Bowles. Yeah, Todd
Although,
Bowles.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, Todd Bowles. I knew because he used to be part of Lovey Smith's defense, I think. But yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield, and I think Todd Bowles, he runs a good program. They're always going to have a good defense. I think they'll be in every game. It just depends on how well they play towards the end of the games. You agree with that, Jamel?
Yeah. And then with the Saints, Derek Carr, he kind of looking over his shoulder a little bit. They went and got Spencer Rattler from South Carolina. He looked pretty good preseason.
Right.
Yeah, he kind of on a short leash this year. So if he don't do better offensively, they can get him up out of there. And then you'll see Spencer Rattler probably wake that offense up a little more.
Yeah.
And the Saints probably do something.
And a lot of people are saying they look for the Saints coach to be the first coach fired. So, because he just ain't getting them together, obviously. I mean, he came in with a good roster, good defense, few receivers, good offensive line, and then he just hasn't manifested nothing. So, Mario, who you got for that division?
I'm gonna take the Buccaneers again.
What about you, Jamel?
I go Tampa Bay too. I take the Bucks.
I think Atlanta overhyped. They overhyping his 13 win. I don't know what they got that from. I don't know
Oh,
why would they.
I mean, they drinking that Kirk Cousins Kool-Aid, I guess. I mean, that's the only
got 13 win for us in Washington or Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean, he's always been a decent quarterback, you know, and if you look over the last 3-4 years, he's pocketed more money than anybody in NFL.
I mean, he gonna throw the ball around the field though. He gonna throw it.
He gonna make them stats look good.
Yeah, he gonna handle
right. And that, you know, and so far, well, we did talk about Tua earlier in Miami. You know, he's the only quarterback we've went that's under the new contract. You know, I mean, so there ain't nobody in that league. Baker Mayfield just got a contract, but he didn't get these numbers that Tua and everybody else is getting. I think he got like the 35 million or so, which ain't nothing to sneeze at. I'll take it. I mean, I'll sit on the bench for 35 million.
Man, what? Water boy, everything.
Yeah, water boy. What time? You know, I mean, you need lunch. I mean, I'm bringing everything for 35 million.
DoorDash, I got you.
All right, so we're all going with the Bucks. All right, so now let's go to the AFC South.
Ooh.
What do you think about this one, Mario?
I'm going with CJ Stroud, Houston Texans. I like him because I think he's gonna take a step forward, and then he got Diggs now, and their defense real solid, and they got a good run game. And you look at his competition, Tennessee, they nobody. Indianapolis, Anthony Richard, he got to get a season on his belt. He got some learning to do. And Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, I always thought he was overrated, but they're gonna be like the second team. But Jacksonville got a good chance to make the playoffs. But Houston just loaded, man. They got the right stuff.
And they got a bunch of receivers and stuff too. I mean, they definitely got an offense. And I look for them to step forward quicker. I look for Green Bay maybe to fade a little bit or be about the same. But I mean, this Texans team, they looking tough. What do you think, Jamal?
Yeah, I agree. They're loaded pretty much everywhere on offense and defense. Like they got picks everywhere, like first round picks on offense. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, John Mitchell, Stephon Diggs. Got Cam Akers at running back. See, like obviously C.J. Stroud. Then on defense, you got Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama, first round pick. They got the two first round DBs, like everywhere, just talent everywhere. Like I wouldn't be surprised if most people pick them as like a dark horse Super Bowl pick.
I just finished it sound like a Super Bowl team to me.
Yeah, they just load everywhere.
You know, and I think the Texans might they might want to, they're kind of, I ain't going to say they're like Miami, but, you know, I think one of the reasons why Kansas City's been successful, you know, and Buffalo's been successful a little bit in the playoffs, I think one of Super Bowl or Cincinnati is these teams that aren't used to cold weather, they need to have the best record in the league or close. So, I mean, you play maybe, you can have one game in the real cold weather, maybe the AFC Championship, you know, I mean, but so I think that matters a little bit to them. But I totally agree. The Texans are absolutely loaded. Everybody was, and you know, Indianapolis, I think there'll be an 8-9 win team. Jacksonville, we'll see. And Jacksonville too. I mean, they need to have a good record because they start going in the AFC to them cold weather teams. You know, I know I keep harping on that, but I mean, you're playing in Florida, and then all of a sudden you're in Kansas City, and it's -1 degrees with a -25 wind chill.
They're gonna freeze.
I mean, they're just not made for it. I mean, and I think Burrow, I think he's proven that it's, and he's got the type of game too. I think he's got a real polished game. So I don't think the cold weather affects him because of that. Now, now Jacksonville, can anybody even imagine Trevor Lawrence going to either Buffalo or Kansas City in the playoffs and in December and winning? Can you imagine? Now, it's right, and I definitely say he would struggle. Now, CJ Stroud, that's yet to be seen. What school did CJ Stroud go to?
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah, he played.
Yeah, so he's experienced a little bit of cold weather. So, and I think Trevor Lawrence was Clemson, right? So, and I think that's 2 hours away from the Georgia campus. You know, so I mean,
they South Carolina, right? Clemson.
Yeah, I believe so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Tennessee, that coach is on the hot seat to me too, and Jacksonville's coach could be on the hot seat. I mean, if Jacksonville takes a step back, because they've been the last couple of years winning 11, 12, 13 games, they just ain't got nothing to show for it. So I think we'll all be in agreement on CJ Stroud. And I actually agree with you, Jamel, that they're a sleeper Super Bowl pick to go to Super Bowl. I mean, you're just loaded. Mm-hmm. All right, so now we'll go to the NFC West.
Here we go.
All right, what do you think about this one, Jamel?
It's not hard.
Yeah, pretty much, San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's anywhere else you can go in it. Was it NFC West? Yeah, NFC West.
Right.
But yeah, San Francisco. I just think they still had the same team. I don't know how they kept this team together for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
Paying them all this money. And I don't know, but they're still there, still talented on offense and defense. So
right.
I'll go San Francisco.
You know, and they're saying everybody's saying they really need to win their Super Bowl this year. Because I think after this year, there's 6 people on their roster is going to be eligible for $20 to $30 million a year contracts.
Dang.
So there's no way they can keep all them people. And I can't think exactly who they are right now, but they said there's 6 players that'll be eligible for $20 or $30 million a year after this year on the Niners. Brock Purdy, and you look at CJ Stroud, he's on his rookie contract. That's why they can build that strong roster. Brock Purdy is on his rookie contract. That's why they can keep all them people. Now, and then they're going to have to pay Purdy here pretty soon. If not next year, the year after. So a lot of people are saying they need to make hay. And
what about that? Have they paid him yet, Fred Warner?
Yeah, I think Fred Warner got paid. I think the other one, I'm not sure the other guy didn't get paid yet. Greenlaw.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot his name. He don't tip my tongue too.
You ain't talking about Bosa. No, he's a defensive lineman.
Yeah, Bosa, I think Bosa got his money too.
The other linebacker he was Fred Warner.
I think he's talking about Mario. I think he's talking about Drake Greenlaw.
Yeah, Greenlaw. That's it, Greenlaw.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of people talk salary cap and stuff like that, but you can circumvent a salary cap, do, interesting things with your money, renegotiate the contract in the middle of it where they still get their money. But there's lots of creative things they can do, and keep everybody together. But you know what? I want to shock everybody. I'm going to say it right now. I think LA Rams are going to win this division. That's funny, huh?
You for real, John?
Yeah, I think they're going to win that division. I think
Aaron Donald?
Huh?
Without Aaron
No,
Donald,
You know,
Arenado
you know, Aaron
retired.
Donald went home, right?
Yeah. And you know, Williams for San Francisco, he ain't showed up.
oh
I
Trent Williams.
mean, yeah, their offensive lineman, he ain't showed up. And their offensive line's a little suspect even with him. So I think Brock Purdy's gonna get the happy feet this year.
You know what? I can't get
Um,
mad at by the ring. I can get mad because Sean McVay a genius now.
The thing with me, even if Brock Purdy sucks, you
mhm.
still got Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah,
Like,
but
How about that?
to me, he's an injury waiting to happen.
Oh,
To
come on.
me,
yeah. But
I mean, yeah,
let's
he
say he
hasn't
has
had a.
really made it with the years before he was injury prone. But I think the last 1-2 years he's been pretty when healthy though. When healthy, he's easily number one, number two running back.
You know, and I'm gonna say it you because you mentioned it a while ago. I mean, what's the coach in San Francisco? He's a
Oh, Shanahan.
what's his name? Shanahan. I never liked the Shanahan. I never liked his dad as a coach.
You ain't like Mike
So,
Shanahan?
huh? No, I wasn't crazy about Shanahan.
Yeah.
I mean, he was with Denver, and I don't even know. Did he win a Super Bowl with Denver?
He went.
Yeah, he went back to back.
Did he win back to that? That was the Elway years, right?
Yeah,
but
Elway got him right at the end.
Yeah.
Shanahan.
But I think Sean McVay in LA is one of the best coaches in the league.
I can't argue with it though.
I agree with that.
So I think they're going to challenge.
You got a ring. You got a ring, Kyle Shanahan. I got one.
And they had, you know, in LA, they won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. They had that down year.
It wasn't too long ago.
And then they kind of came back. You know, they showed their mettle with they're on the way up again. So Seattle.
They're not far off though. They're not far off.
I agree. You know, that's what I said. I mean, but watch out for them. Let's go ahead and say San Francisco wins the division. Keep an eye on LA. And I want to tell you another thing. Keep an eye on Arizona because they got one of the best defenses in the league. There were 2 or 3 in the league last year in defense. And you got Kyler Murray coming back healthy. Maybe he'll get off his iPad or his video games. And then you got Marvin Harrison Jr., which I don't think we saw him in the preseason. So he's definitely got somebody to throw to now. So I think that could be interesting. You know, I mean, we go back and let's look at the strength of schedule. Let's see. So look at the strength of schedule. Where's Arizona at on there?
Almost at the bottom, like.
Are they? Look at the Saints and the Falcons has the easiest schedule in the league.
Because of the division, though. Yeah.
Chicago has one of the easiest schedules in the league. There's the Los Angeles Chargers way down there, and Miami, and Arizona, and Seattle. It looks like, let's see where the Houston Texans, their schedule is going to be at a 5:30 this year. Now I know this don't mean a whole lot, you know, because you never know how things are going to play out. But
it's a good measuring stick, though.
Yeah, it's a good measuring stick to start your season with to think about it. But now you see the Green Bay Packers and the Houston Texans are right there at like 4 and 5 hardest schedules, and that's probably they're victims of their own success because once you start throwing up some good years, you know, because you look Baltimore Ravens second hardest schedule, Pittsburgh Steelers third. You know, I mean, so all right. So I think I want to go with the LA Rams. Y'all both going to San Francisco, right?
But hey, I like the pick though. I mean, the Rams. Hey, you can't go against them like that.
Yeah, they won. I think they won 9-10 games last year.
And I think they made the playoffs, didn't they?
They had a lot of stuff going on. They still made the playoffs. So that pick ain't crazy. Yeah,
right.
Crazy.
Yeah, because I think I'm gonna go with that. All right, so we're pretty much in agreement except for my LA Rams. All right, let's go to the AFC West.
Oh, here we go.
All right. Jamel, I'm gonna let you go on this one.
He only one choice. The right choice.
Oh, yeah, he's a homer.
Yeah. Come on. We know what the choice is.
I can't pick Denver. We suck. So
You're on the one choice.
Mahomes, Mahomes own this division. This man, I don't think he, I don't think he lost this division in almost 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City been running this division for a long time,
They were
Well,
very real
see,
long time.
and last year, um, they had the youngest defense. They were still second in the league in scoring, second in the league in total defense. Had more sacks than any NFL team. You know, you say defense wins championships.
Yeah.
Now, and Mahomes probably had a down year by his standards.
I was just
I
about
think
to
he had
say
like 27 touchdowns and like 14 interceptions because his receiving corps were a mess last year.
a mess.
But that was everybody's opportunity.
That
And
was
now they
down.
got that Xavier Worthy coming, and I watched him in preseason. You know, he ran the fastest 40 anybody's ever ran. And you know what's so scary about him to me is Andy Reid actually knows how to use him. I mean, he's going to stretch them defenses. And you think about them tight ends and Hollywood and Rasheed Rice, his case for his wrecks and stuff ain't going to be heard till after the season. I mean, so he ain't going nowhere. And I mean, they re-signed everybody back. I mean, they're going to be tough. Now, I look for the second place to be Bo Nix. I mean, I think that quarterback in Denver is the real deal.
I ain't too high on Bo Nix. I ain't
Hey,
going.
I think you're gonna look at me a year from now and you're gonna say you was right, John, because he releases the football within 2.7 seconds. He played 61 college games in his career. I mean, and they say, you know, some people will put an air horn on a quarterback when they drop back, and when it hits 3 seconds, the air horn goes off. That means quarterback's taking too long to make a decision, get rid of the ball. He's on that pro. He can get it out. He can get it out on time. He makes decisions faster. I mean, he's, you know, like I said, had 61 games, one of the longest NCAA careers for a quarterback ever. Definitely got the experience. Denver, to me, is going to be, they will come up quicker than the Chargers, I think. So, what do you think, Mario?
All right, I'm gonna be extra around him because he deserve it. Right here, only one choice, the right choice. The second grade quarterback of all time in the NFL.
Is that what?
The second grade quarterback of all time. So he retired, he might be number one. I ain't got to say nothing. We know his name. I ain't got to say his name. It's that team that raid right there. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Who's the first best quarterback all time?
Right now, Tom Brady at this moment. Tom Brady right now.
Okay.
Like you want me to say him the greatest? You want me to put pressure on them? What? I will. I ain't never seen no quarterback better than him.
Mahomes, he had on that trail though. If he get that,
well, you know, and they made all the right moves in the offseason. I mean, controversy don't touch them. Andy Reid just goes on about his merry way, eats hamburgers, don't worry about it. Keeps them together. I think they're one of the best coach teams. I think they handle their personnel the right way. And Andy Reid is an offensive genius, you know, because it ain't no thing that Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, and I can sit there and go down 5 or 6 quarterbacks had their best season when they played for Andy Reid.
Andy Reid is second grade coach of all time.
I was just about to say. A lot of people won't say it yet, but he might be coming for Coach Belichick. And Reid might be coming
I mean, everybody, you know, this day and age, everybody's souring on that my way to highway thing. You have to be a player's coach, kinda. And I think Andy Reid is a player's coach in a way, but he seems he's not afraid to be firm and bring the hammer to when things need to be taken care of. He's not like Belichick, but as far as so tough and stuff, but he's definitely on top of things. I think, you know, I thought he was overrated because, you know, he coached under Parcells. You know, Lawrence Taylor made his name. You know, I don't know if y'all probably don't remember that far back,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah. I remember. I
he was
do.
a defensive coordinator when Lawrence Taylor
For the
was just,
Giants.
huh?
No, I was saying he was the D coordinator for the Giants.
He was a D coordinator at Giants when Lawrence Taylor was there. I mean, Lawrence Taylor made his name. I
Like,
mean, but he's got to have, but I mean, and I think for years he picks a good defense. But I mean, and you look at the years that they're really good. I mean, they had to have an offensive coordinator that Brady could communicate with, and I just don't think he knows a lot about the offense now. But back in the day, he could put that roster together on that defense. I mean, he had a system down. But I think other people were making his decisions on offense.
you know, I told
That's
you number
why.
one right there, the coach who I told was my favorite one. I'm with the grades to me.
Who?
I told you, Bill Walsh.
Bill Walsh?
He created the West Coast offense.
He did. And you look at his tree, you know, you got Mike Holgram, you got Andy Reid. I mean, that's all off that Bill Walsh tree. You know, I mean, the guy in Green Bay, he's off the Bill Walsh tree in an indirect way, but on down the thing. So I think we're going to agree that Kansas City is going to win that division, if not the Super Bowl.
What about the second best in the division?
I'm telling you, it's Denver.
Oh, I would say Chargers.
Yeah, because I think the Chargers are going to struggle a little bit.
You think
what do
so?
you think, Jamel?
I'll say Chargers. I'll go Chargers.
Yeah, because I don't think they got the receivers. And, you know, and Herbert, I don't think we've even seen him in the preseason.
You don't believe in Harbaugh?
Huh? No, I do believe in Harbaugh, but I just think he didn't have when he brought like San Francisco, he immediately brought up. But San Francisco had a pretty good roster when he got there.
It did.
I mean, you know, so it didn't. I think it's going to take a little bit of work with this roster. Now he's got a defense. You know, I think he's got the players anyway. They got to play better as a defense. But
they still got Bosa and Derwin James.
Don't they have both, Jamal?
They still got both of them, right?
Yeah, but I think, like I said, I think those guys. Well, Derwin James might be a little overpaid. Just a little. But like I said, it's Denver. I don't see. I didn't see too much. Like Bo Nix, Zach Wilson, all the quarterbacks, they all look the same to me. Sean Payton, I'm becoming less and less of a believer of him.
Right.
So,
well, you know, and last year, you know, they wasn't too bad last year. It always bothers me when a quarterback's calling the play, a coach is calling the plays, because he's one of those that wants that clipboard in his hand. He wants to have his hand on every play. And dude in Dallas, you know, I mean, he started calling the plays again last year.
You know his name. Oh, dude, you know his name. That'd be funny.
But I think that's what cost him that playoff game. You know, I think I was telling Mario about this. Is Dan Quinn, your guy in Washington? He was, you know, in Dallas. It's kind of when you start calling plays, you got to make your defensive coordinator like associate head coach or whatever. You got to say, all right, I'm gonna call my own plays. I ain't got time to worry about the defense. And I think that hurt them in the playoffs because when they started struggling against Green Bay, he couldn't walk up to Dan Quinn and say, look, you need to try this, that. He couldn't be a coach. Dan Quinn and just sunk with the ship. And I think that hurts. You start calling the plays. You can't go over there and get in the defensive coordinator's business because you already are coordinating the offense. So it's hard for you to go over there and start, you know, he probably gave Dan Quinn ultimate responsibility all year. And you can't change that for the playoffs. You just got to take that lick. Because, I mean, great. And for one thing, their defense to me, and I think Mike Zimmer will fix this in Dallas. And I ain't saying they're going to Super Bowl. But, I mean, in the playoffs, Cowboys cannot rush the passer. Where's Micah Parsons?
Man, you ain't lying, boy. John,
I
you
mean,
said right.
the last 3 or 4 games, if you look at the last couple years, last 3 or 4 games, Micah Parsons' numbers dip in the last 4 or 5 games of the season.
I thought bro was a regular player when he's out there.
I mean, he's great for the first 10, 12 games, and then his stats start to dip.
Who you think the fault is that? You think him, or you think it's the defense, or you think they just?
Go ahead,
I think they
Jamal.
just really like come playoff time, they just really focus in on him because he's pretty much like he's the one that wrecks all the havoc. Really, to me, like he's the one that's causing all the havoc, getting in the backfield, staying in the backfield, like
Right.
all that stuff is going on is because of him, and they really just zone in on him, man. Quite frankly, I just think he needs help.
I think he needs better. I think the team needs better coaching defensively. Because when you got a good offense all year and you're throwing up points and stuff, and you're sitting over in the defense, you're looking like the big dog. I mean, with your defense, I mean, the offense is carrying you all year, and it comes playoff time, it gets exposed. Now Dan Quinn, he might go to Washington, become a great coach, but so I ain't gonna predict his future, but in his past, I think he has something to be desired as a defensive coach. I like Mike Zimmer in Dallas.